Have you ever stood up from a chair and felt lightheaded for just a moment? Or forgotten a familiar word, then brushed it off as just aging? Maybe your hand trembled a little one morning, or your vision blurred for a second. You didn't feel pain. You didn't fall. So you moved on with your day. But here's the truth no one likes to say out loud. Stroke doesn't always start with drama. It doesn't always come with slurred speech or a paralyzed arm. Sometimes it begins with the small things, the things we ignore, the things we say, "That's normal at my age about." But they're not always normal, and they're not always harmless. After age 60, our bodies change in quiet ways, and some of those changes, if left unchecked, can open the door to a stroke without warning. In this video, we'll walk through 7 surprising and often overlooked causes of stroke in seniors. Not to scare you, but to empower you, so you can recognize them early, make small changes, and protect the strength and clarity that make you you. Because stroke isn't just something that happens. It's something that builds over time, often in silence. But the good news is, so can your defense against it. Let's begin with the first hidden trigger. It's not in your blood pressure, not in your brain scans. It starts with something as simple as water. Hidden trigger number 1, chronic dehydration, the quiet stroke. Risk no one talks about. You probably drink when you're thirsty, a glass of water with your pills, maybe a cup of tea in the afternoon. It feels like enough. But here's something many seniors don't realize. As we age, our sense of thirst begins to fade. The body stops sending strong signals, and we drink less, not out of choice, but out of silence. This slow, unnoticed dehydration doesn't just make your mouth dry. It makes your blood thicker. It slows down circulation, and it increases the chances of a tiny blood clot forming, one that could block an artery in your brain. According to the National Institutes of Health, nearly 40% of older adults are chronically dehydrated without knowing it. They don't feel thirsty, but they feel tired, lightheaded, sometimes confused, and they assume it's just part of getting older. But in many cases, it's not aging. It's dehydration affecting brain function, blood pressure, and blood flow. What chronic dehydration feels like. After 60, getting up from bed and feeling dizzy for a few seconds, a dry mouth, but not enough to notice headaches in the late morning or early evening muscle cramps, especially at night, feeling foggy or forgetful, especially after skipping meals. You might not feel thirsty, but your body is asking for water in its own quiet ways. How dehydration increases stroke risk. When the body lacks enough fluids, blood volume drops, making it harder to maintain stable blood pressure. Blood becomes thicker, which can increase the chance of clotting. Electrolyte imbalances may trigger heart rhythm issues, especially in seniors with heart disease. Put simply, dehydration makes it harder for your heart to pump and for your brain to stay oxygenated. Over time, this increases your risk for ischemic stroke, the most common type in older adults. And the worst part, you don't see it coming, because there's no loud symptom, just a quiet decline in the body's ability to stay balanced. Small changes that make a big difference. You don't need to drink a gallon of water a day. You just need a rhythm, a routine that reminds your body, "I'm paying attention." Here's how. Start your morning with a full glass of water, before coffee, before anything. This rehydrates your body after sleep and supports circulation. Set a gentle reminder to drink a half glass every 1 to 2 hours, even if you're not thirsty. Add slices of cucumber, lemon, or berries to your water for flavor and added nutrients. Drink fluids with every meal. Soups, herbal tea, water-rich fruits like watermelon or oranges all count. If swallowing is difficult or water feels boring, Try warm broths or mild electrolyte drinks made for seniors. One smart tip: the bathroom test. If your urine is light yellow or clear, you're likely hydrated. If it's dark yellow or amber, your body needs more fluids. It's simple, it's free. And it might be the test that helps prevent your next emergency room visit. Final word on trigger number 1. Dehydration doesn't make headlines, but day by day it can chip away at your strength, your clarity, and your circulation. And for older adults, that quiet damage is sometimes all it takes to trigger a stroke. So next time you reach for your cup, let it be an act of care. Let it be your way of saying to your body, I see you. I'm still listening. Because hydration isn't just about feeling better. It's about staying here, longer, stronger, and safer. Hidden trigger number 2. Vitamin B12. Deficiency, the invisible drain on your brain and blood vessels. It often starts with something small. You reach for a word, but can't quite find it. You feel a little off balance stepping off a curb. Your legs feel heavy in the morning, even after a good night's sleep. You might chalk it up to just getting older. But what if the real issue is something as simple as a missing vitamin? Why vitamin B12 matters so much after 60. After age 60, many adults lose the ability to absorb vitamin B12 properly from food. Why? Because the stomach produces less acid, which is needed to unlock B12 from what we eat. That means even if you eat well, you may not be getting enough of this critical nutrient, and without it, your body, and especially your brain, starts to feel the effects. Vitamin B12 helps protect your nerves, support memory and mood, regulate red blood cell production, and most importantly, it helps lower homocysteine, a compound that quietly damages your arteries if left unchecked. High homocysteine levels have been linked to a higher risk of both stroke and dementia, especially in seniors. And here's the catch. B12 deficiency doesn't hurt. It doesn't scream. It whispers. Warning signs of B12. Deficiency in older adults. Tingling or numbness in the hands or feet. Fatigue that doesn't go away with rest. Memory lapses or brain fog. Feeling unsteady while walking. Mood changes, irritability, low motivation, or anxiety. If these sound familiar, it might not be just aging. It might be your body asking for help. Why this becomes a hidden stroke risk. When B12 levels drop, homocysteine rises, and this toxic amino acid starts irritating the lining of your blood vessels. Over time, it makes arteries more prone to clots, narrowing, and blockage. For the brain, that's a dangerous combination, a silent buildup. That can suddenly become a stroke. The worst part? You might never know, unless you check. How to protect yourself. Here's the good news. B12 is easy to restore once you know you need it. Step 1. Get tested. Ask your doctor for a serum B12 and homocysteine test. They're quick, simple, and can reveal what's happening behind the scenes. Step 2. Choose the right source. Natural food sources. Eggs. Dairy products like Greek yogurt. Salmon, tuna, and sardines, beef, or chicken liver. But if absorption is the issue, which it often is in seniors, you may need a supplement. Look for methylcobalamin, a form your body absorbs more easily. Dose. 250 to 500 micrograms daily is safe for most older adults. Sublingual tablets, placed under the tongue, or sprays work well if digestion is compromised. And for those with serious deficiency, your doctor may recommend monthly B12 injections. Smart tip for seniors. Pair your B12 supplement with folate and vitamin B6. These three work together to keep your blood vessels healthy and your homocysteine low. They're like a trio of guardians, quiet but powerful. Final word on trigger number 2. You don't have to feel weak or forgetful. You don't have to lose your balance or lose your words. Sometimes the answer isn't more rest. It's more of what your body quietly stopped absorbing. So if you've been feeling off, if your energy feels low or your mind feels slower, take a closer look. Because one small vitamin could be the bridge between your symptoms and your strength. Coming up, trigger number 3, a condition that hides while you sleep, but raises your stroke risk every night. Hidden trigger number 3, poor sleep or undiagnosed sleep apnea, the risk that strikes while you sleep. Most people think of sleep as the time when the body rests. But for your brain, your heart, and your blood vessels, sleep is when healing happens. Now imagine this. What if your body never fully rests? What if, night after night, your brain gets just enough oxygen to stay alive, but not enough to stay sharp or safe? That's what happens with sleep apnea. And for many older adults, it goes completely unnoticed. What is sleep apnea, and why is it dangerous? Sleep apnea is a condition where your breathing pauses or becomes shallow repeatedly during sleep. These pauses can last 10 seconds, 20 seconds, sometimes even longer. And they happen dozens or even hundreds of times each night. Each time it happens, your brain panics. It jolts the body awake just enough to restart breathing. You don't remember waking, but your body does. And it shows up as morning headaches, dry mouth, feeling groggy even after 8 hours in bed, daytime sleepiness, mood changes, or memory slips. But here's what matters most. Every drop in oxygen damages your blood vessels. It stresses your heart. It triggers surges in blood pressure, especially in the early morning. And over time, it raises your risk of stroke by up to 3 times, according to the American Heart Association. Why sleep apnea is often missed in seniors. It doesn't always come with loud snoring. It doesn't always look like choking or gasping. Sometimes it just looks like fatigue, or waking up to go to the bathroom multiple times, or a spouse noticing you stop breathing briefly during the night. And because many older adults assume poor sleep is just part of aging, they never get tested. What you can do about it. Step 1. Listen to your body. If you wake up tired, feel sleepy during the day, or notice memory issues getting worse, don't ignore it. Step 2. Talk to your doctor about a sleep test. Today's tests are easier than ever. You can often do them at home with a small device worn overnight. Step 3. If diagnosed, treat it. Most people with sleep apnea benefit from CPAP machines, which gently keep your airway open. Mouth devices that adjust your jaw weight management, if applicable. Sleeping on your side instead of your back. The results? Better oxygen, better blood pressure, sharper thinking, and a brain that's no longer at risk each time you close your eyes. Bonus tip for better sleep, even without apnea. Keep a regular bedtime. Avoid caffeine after 2 p.m. Use a small pillow to support your neck alignment. Keep your bedroom cool, dark, and quiet. Try gentle stretching or warm tea before bed. Final word on trigger number 3. Sleep is not a luxury, it's a lifeline. And if something is stealing the quality of your sleep, it may be stealing more than your energy. It may be quietly raising your risk for stroke night after night. But here's the gift. Once you recognize it, you can take it back. You can sleep better. You can think clearer. You can wake up to mornings that feel like rest, not recovery. Up next, trigger number 4. A daily habit. Most seniors don't think twice about, but it could be quietly harming your circulation. Hidden trigger number 4. Long periods of sitting. The slow circulation. Killer. You wake up, sit down for breakfast, then maybe watch the news, check the mail, read a little, and before you know it, the day has passed, mostly from a chair. That might sound like a typical day for many older adults, and on the surface, it doesn't seem harmful. You're not in pain. You're just resting. But here's the truth that surprises many seniors. Sitting for too long, without moving, can quietly raise your stroke risk. Why sitting too much harms your brain and blood vessels. When we sit for long periods, especially without shifting or stretching, blood pools in the lower legs, reducing circulation to the brain. The heart works harder to pump blood upward, and blood flow becomes sluggish, which makes it easier for clots to form, especially in the legs and pelvis. And these clots? If one breaks free and travels upward, it can block a vessel in your brain and trigger an ischemic stroke, even in someone with normal blood pressure. A study from the American Stroke Association found that seniors who sit more than 8 hours a day have a significantly higher risk of stroke, even if they exercise occasionally. Why? Because it's not just how much you move, it's how often you don't. How to know if you're sitting too much. Ask yourself, do I sit for more than an hour at a time without getting up? Are there long stretches of the day where I hardly move my legs? Do I feel stiffness, swelling, or heaviness in my calves or ankles? If the answer is yes, you're not alone, but you are at risk. The good news? It's fixable. Not with intense exercise, not with gym memberships, just with simple, gentle movement, done regularly. How to break the sitting still cycle. Here are small shifts that can protect your circulation and brain. Stand and stretch every 30 to 60 minutes. Set a timer. When it goes off, just stand up and walk to the kitchen or around the room. That's enough. Try commercial break movement. Watching TV? During each break, march in place or lift your heels 10 to 15 times. Use a foot pedal or seated bike. Even while watching the news or reading, your legs can be moving lightly. Phone call equals walking cue. Every time the phone rings, use it as a chance to stand and pace. Elevate your legs in the afternoon. Especially if you sit for long periods, resting with your feet up helps prevent pooling. The brain benefits of moving. More often, light movement doesn't just protect your heart and legs. It improves blood flow to the brain, keeping memory sharp and reducing mental fatigue. It helps lower blood pressure naturally, and it helps regulate blood sugar, which also reduces stroke risk. It's not about working out harder. It's about interrupting stillness, gently but consistently. Final word on trigger number 4. Your body was made to move, not just in the big ways, but in the little ones. So even if your knees ache, even if you walk slowly, even if you need a walker or a cane, every step counts, every stretch matters, every break from stillness is a message to your blood vessels. Keep flowing, keep nourishing, keep me safe. And that simple act may be what keeps your next day from becoming a hospital stay. Next up, trigger number 5. A hidden source of excess sodium that sneaks into your diet, even when you think you're eating healthy. Hidden trigger number 5. Hidden sodium. The stroke risk. Hiding in healthy foods. You've stopped adding salt at the table. You avoid chips, fast food, and frozen pizza. You even switch to low-fat soups and whole grain crackers. So your sodium must be under control, right? Here's what many seniors don't realize. The most dangerous salt often doesn't taste salty. It hides quietly inside foods labeled healthy, low-fat, or even heart-smart. And over time, that hidden sodium can silently raise your blood pressure, damaging the arteries in your brain and pushing you closer to stroke, bite by bite. Why too much sodium is so risky. After 60, as we age, our blood vessels become less elastic. They don't relax as easily as they used to. That means excess sodium causes bigger pressure spikes, especially in the brain. And high blood pressure? It's the #1 most common cause of stroke, particularly ischemic stroke, the kind caused by a blocked artery. Even more concerning, many seniors who eat healthy are still consuming twice as much sodium as recommended, without even knowing it. Common healthy foods that may be hiding: high sodium canned soups and broths, even low-fat or light varieties. Whole grain breads or wraps, some have over 200 milligrams per slice. Cottage cheese or low-fat cheeses. Turkey breast deli meat or rotisserie chicken. Heart-healthy frozen meals. Vegetable juice or tomato-based sauces. Flavored oatmeal packets or instant noodles. Plant-based meats or veggie burgers. They sound harmless, but many of these pack 400 to 900 milligrams of sodium per serving, and most seniors eat more than one serving at a time. How to cut hidden sodium without giving up. Flavor. Here's how to quietly protect your blood vessels at every meal. Read nutrition labels carefully. Look for foods with 140 milligrams sodium or less per serving for low-sodium options. Rinse canned vegetables and beans. This removes up to 40% of the sodium added for preservation. Use herbs and spices instead of salt. Garlic powder, turmeric, rosemary, lemon, and pepper add flavor without raising blood pressure. Choose no salt-added versions of tomato sauces, broths, and canned goods. Watch serving sizes. That 1 cup of soup? The bowl you pour might be 2 or 3 times that. Smart Senior. Tip: keep a sodium diary for 3 days. Write down everything you eat and drink, then look up the sodium content. You may be shocked, but awareness is the first step toward real protection. Most older adults should aim for 1,500 milligrams of sodium per day or less. That's about 2/3 of a teaspoon of salt total. And when you spread it out wisely, it's more than enough. Final word on trigger number 5. Your heart and brain work hard every day. They pump, they think, they carry you through your life. But too much hidden salt forces them to work harder than they should, quietly wearing them down. Until one day, a vessel gives out, and everything changes in a moment. But it doesn't have to. With a few mindful swaps, a few wiser choices, you can lower your pressure, protect your brain, and still enjoy your meals. Because protecting yourself from stroke doesn't mean giving up food. It just means learning to listen to what's hidden inside it. Coming up, trigger number 6. A silent heart rhythm condition that often goes unnoticed until it causes a stroke. Hidden trigger number 6. Atrial fibrillation, the silent heartbeat that can lead straight to stroke. Sometimes the danger doesn't come from outside. It comes from your own heartbeat, one that doesn't race, doesn't skip, but instead flutters, not in a romantic way, but in a way that makes your heart pump blood unevenly, leaving some of that blood behind. And when blood sits still, it clots. And if one of those clots travels up to your brain, it can block an artery and trigger a sudden, devastating stroke. This condition is called atrial fibrillation, or AFib. And millions of older Americans have it, many without even knowing. What is AFib, and why is it so dangerous? AFib is an irregular heart rhythm where the top chambers of your heart, the atria, quiver instead of beating smoothly. This causes blood to pool inside the heart, especially the left atrial appendage, a small pouch where clots love to form. And if one of those clots escapes, it travels to the brain and causes an ischemic stroke, often without warning. In fact, according to the American Stroke Association, AFib increases stroke risk by up to 5 times. And strokes caused by AFib tend to be more severe, with higher chances of disability or death. Why AFib often goes undetected. You might expect to feel your heart racing, but here's the tricky part. Many people feel nothing, especially seniors. Instead, AFib often shows up as mild fatigue, feeling off but not sure why, shortness of breath with mild activity, lightheadedness, a strange fluttering sensation in the chest that comes and goes. And because it's not constant, it's easy to dismiss. That's why it's often called silent AFib. How to find out if you have AFib. Step 1. Check your pulse. Once a day, take your pulse. If it feels irregular, like it's skipping, speeding up, or beating unevenly, don't ignore it. Step 2. Ask for an EKG. Even a basic electrocardiogram at your doctor's office can detect AFib. In some cases, they may give you a 24-hour monitor to wear at home. Step 3. Don't delay. AFib-related strokes often happen suddenly without warning. But with early detection, they are highly preventable. How AFib is treated and managed. If diagnosed, your doctor may recommend blood thinners like Eliquis or Xarelto to prevent clots, rate control medications to keep the heart rhythm steady, procedures like cardioversion or ablation, in some cases lifestyle support, including limiting caffeine, alcohol, and managing stress. The goal isn't to scare you, it's to give you back control. Because once you know it's there, AFib can be treated. And most importantly, its stroke risk can be dramatically reduced. Smart tip. Don't skip annual heart checkups. Even if you feel fine, even if your blood pressure is good, AFib can hide in plain sight. But a yearly rhythm check, especially after age 65, can save your brain. Final word on trigger number 6. Your heartbeat is your rhythm of life. And when it shifts, even just slightly, it can change more than you know. But awareness is power. So don't wait for a stroke to reveal what your heart's been whispering. Listen early, check often, and trust that even the quietest changes deserve your attention. Next, trigger number 7. A surprising emotional factor that affects your body's chemistry and quietly raises your stroke risk over time. Hidden trigger number 7. Chronic stress with no outlet. The emotional weight that presses on your blood vessels. Some stress is part of life. A doctor's appointment, a bill in the mailbox, a missed call from your grandchild. These moments pass. But what happens when stress doesn't pass? What happens when it sits inside, unspoken, unshared, unresolved? That's called chronic stress. And for older adults, it's far more common and far more dangerous than most people realize. Why chronic stress raises stroke risk. When your body feels under pressure, whether from worry, sadness, or constant alertness, your brain signals the release of cortisol, the primary stress hormone. And while cortisol is helpful short-term, long-term elevation causes increased blood pressure, inflammation in blood vessels, elevated blood sugar and cholesterol, weakened immune response, and eventually, greater risk of blood clots and arterial damage. In other words, stress doesn't just affect your mood. It changes your chemistry. It reshapes your circulation. It wears down your inner defenses. And it can quietly set the stage for a stroke, even if everything else seems fine on the outside. Why seniors are especially vulnerable. Retirement, loneliness, losing loved ones, caring for a partner in poor health, facing health fears of your own. All these moments come with weight, and many older adults, especially men, feel they have to carry it silently. But here's the truth. Unexpressed stress doesn't go away. It just settles deeper into the body. How to gently release that stress. Every day, you don't need therapy or life overhaul. You just need an outlet. Here are small, powerful ways to let stress go. Walk outside, even for 10 minutes. Nature calms the nervous system. Write in a notebook, a thought, a worry, a memory. Let it move out of your head. Or breathe deeply, 5 slow breaths 3 times a day, in through the nose, out through the mouth. Listen to calming music, something slow, familiar, warm. Talk to someone, a friend, a neighbor, your child, even your pet. Just let your voice speak. Pray, meditate, sit quietly. The stillness is medicine. Smart tip: create a stress pause. After meals. After breakfast or lunch, take 3 to 5 minutes to do one calming activity. Not chores, not errands. Just breathe, stretch, sit, listen to music. Give your heart a signal that it's safe, that it can soften. Over time, this helps lower your resting blood pressure, calm your nerves, and support vessel health. Final word on trigger number 7. You don't have to be loud to be strong. You don't have to smile all the time to be okay. But you do deserve peace, and your body needs it. So if you've been carrying something heavy, let a little of it out today. Even just a little, because your heart, your brain, and your future, they all work better when you're not fighting alone inside. You've just learned about 7 hidden triggers, 7 quiet forces that can build up over time, changing how your heart beats, how your blood flows, how your brain protects itself. But here's the most important part of all. It's never too late to notice, never too late to shift, never too late to protect what matters most. Your mind, your movement, your independence. You don't need a perfect lifestyle. You don't need to fix everything overnight. You just need awareness and the willingness to take small, gentle steps every day. So if this video helped you understand your body more clearly, if it gave you peace or reminded you of your power to choose, please consider doing 3 simple things, like this video, so YouTube knows it matters. Subscribe to Senior Health Tips, where every week we share practical, comforting, research-based guidance made especially for you. And share this video with someone you care about, because sometimes one video can change more than just a day. It can change a life. Until next time, stay strong, stay informed, and stay gentle with yourself. You deserve it.